What estate planning documents do I need? Let me do a 30-second review of each one. There's 4 or 5 key ones. Let's talk about a power of attorney. It's a legal document that grants authority to someone else to make legal and financial decisions on your behalf. Right? Why do I need someone to make legal and financial decisions? Well, if you're in a car accident tomorrow and you're incapacitated for 2 months, who's going to pay your rent? Who's going to pay your utilities? They're going to start shutting everything off, right? You have to have somebody that's able to do your financial things on your behalf and your legal things. What if you're in a coma and we have to commence a lawsuit against the car that hit you? No one could do that, right? So you need to authorize someone to do all that unexpected stuff. Power of attorney. Number 2, healthcare proxy. That's a legal document that grants authority to someone else to make healthcare decisions on your behalf. Who makes healthcare decisions on your behalf? You do 100% of the time until you can't. Now, you can today because you're listening to me, but tomorrow something might happen that you can't. Well, then who is? The answer is the government or the doctors. So if you want the government and the doctors to make those key decisions, then don't worry about having a healthcare proxy. But if you want those key decisions to be made by people you love and that know you, you need a healthcare proxy that authorizes the people you want to make those healthcare decisions. So power of attorney, healthcare proxy. What's the next one? A living will. What's a living will? Is that different than a healthcare proxy? Yes. A healthcare proxy grants authority to someone else to make legal decisions. The living will is just an expression of your wishes of what you would like to happen at your end of life. Do you want to be kept alive by heroic measures, resuscitation, breathing machines and all that stuff? Generally, most attorneys, we always incorporate those two together. We put the instructions in with the authority. So that's how a living will is different than a healthcare proxy. Both are valuable. Healthcare proxy, more important than a living will. Living will effective for end-of-life issues. Next most important document, your last will and testament. What's that? That identifies who gets your stuff after you die. Now, who gets it? Well, I don't have a will. The government does not get it if you don't have a will, but the government does say who does get it if you have a will. If you don't know what the government says, or you don't like what the government says, then you better have your own will, okay? Very important document. Again, not important unless you die, so make sure you get that before you die. I'm being sarcastic, right? Because you don't know when that's going to happen. We hope it's a very long time off, but it could be tomorrow. So plan for the best, plan for the worst, and hope for the best, all right? Next document is a trust. What does a trust do? A trust is, I call it the next level. When you've accumulated assets or other things important to you, and you don't want to be subject to the burdens of the bureaucracy of the legal system and of courts after you die that's required by the probate process, which is used with a will, some people will say, you know what, I'm going to get a trust and I'm going to set up my own rules to follow rather than having to follow all those other ones. So a trust is a great estate planning document for those that are pre-retirement or nearing retirement or post-retirement that want to make sure what they have gets to the people they want without unnecessary cost or delay, and to make sure maybe 3 types of trust. One is a revocable trust. The other is an irrevocable trust. But there's 2 types of irrevocable trust. One is to protect your assets from creditors and predators and lawsuits and long-term care and all that. The other one is protect it from estate taxes. The estate tax irrevocable trust is very complex and very few people like it. Again, if you do have an estate tax issue, an attorney will let you know that, and we would discuss the pros and cons of those type trusts. The more popular irrevocable trust is an irrevocable IPUG, in our firm, IPUG Protection Trust, which you can put your money in, you can still control it, benefit from it, change it with one restriction, and it's protected from lawsuits, long-term care costs, and other creditors and predators. And so people start to say, oh, I like that. Okay, well, you like that if you have money to protect. You really don't care about that if you don't, okay? So it's all relative to which documents you need, and they usually happen at different times of life. Now, there's a whole bunch of other documents that we get involved that I'm not going to mention here for people that are worth a lot of money, charitable foundations, charitable remainder trust, qualified personal residence trust. There's all kinds of all this stuff. You don't need to worry about that unless you have more than $13 million if you're single and $26 million if you're married. If you don't have that much, then you don't have to worry about all those other things. Power of attorney, healthcare proxy, living will, last will and testament, revocable trust, irrevocable trust. Those are really the 6 key things you need to be aware of. And you'll need them at different times of your life.